Hi, I'm Steve Cass, and I thought that I would try making a video rather than typing a great long piece into Facebook. Whether it works or not, it's up to you guys, but I'll do my best. So, in church yesterday, a prayer finished, "Oh God, help us care for the weak. Help us care for the weak." And it set me thinking, especially in the light of Jordan Peterson, explaining why being caring and compassionate isn't always a virtue in every situation. And it made me think, how do we make it mean something as opposed to just signalling what we think we're supposed to say? The danger is that we pat ourselves on the back and it's see you next week for our next virtue signalling session. So what are our definitions, i.e. who are we including in the term weak? And what do we mean by care? So the weak, severe physical and or mental disability? How severe? Who decides? What about those who technically don't have any physical or mental disability, but are down on their luck or having a tough time at the moment? Are they the weak as well? What about someone who has their own home and plenty of money, but is very lonely? Are they the weak? Can people self-select themselves as weak and in need of help? If so, how do they do that? If they can't self-select, then who decides who's going to qualify as weak? And how do we identify those who are truly in need from those who could, i.e. they're capable, but can't be bothered and would rather take help from others because it's easier than being disciplined and do the hard graft needed to become self-reliant, the kind of stuff Jordan Peterson talks about? Should all these questions be down simply to each individual's personal judgment? Then the word care. What is care exactly in "Oh God, help us care for the weak"? I guess we have to do more than pray, but if so, what? If we're going to do things for people, what things? How much do we do? And for how long do we do them? Who decides? Or is our goal to try and make and help people who are weak become stronger so that they cease to be dependent upon us? Do we proactively help someone who is unemployed to find a job, for example? Or is it our goal just to do stuff for people forever, or until they decide that they are not in need or don't want our help anymore? But doesn't this keep them dependent? Is it good for them? Is it good for us, for them to be dependent on us, for always in that way? Isn't permanent dependence a form of slavery? And "Oh God, help us care for the weak," it was at the end of a prayer. So we're told to pray for the weak, okay? But what are we praying for exactly? For them to no longer be weak? Well, how will that happen? Just through the grace of God, or do we help in practical ways? Or are we praying for them to have the grace to accept their weakness without bitterness and resentment? Big themes for Jordan Peterson again. Bad things happen for people who are bitter and resentful. We can volunteer to listen to people, good, but we aren't trained clinical psychologists, most of us, so do we just listen, or do we give advice as well? And if we give advice, on what basis? Might we not do more harm than good with our well-meaning but homespun wisdom? So I'm concerned that if we don't think through in detail, with goodwill and open minds, the various problems of our society, if we just keep spouting virtue signalling, saying virtue signalling sentences, but we don't actually understand what it means or what we're going to do, nothing will change until someone with deep bitterness and resentment and a power lust comes along and changes it to suit their radical ideological views. The names Lenin, Stalin, Hitler, Mao, Pol Pot should hardly need saying in this context. "Oh God, help us care for the weak." Yes, that's what we as Christians are supposed to say. But what do we mean? In practical, daily life terms, what do we mean? I look forward to your feedback. Thanks very much. Bye.